recording.
Okay.
Hello.
You type it in.
Your phone's so tiny.
It is. Your phone is gigantic.
We have 38 minutes.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy
Hold on, let me stop.
Can't zoom in or out in this mode. Okay. That was the biggest, stupidest thing I've ever done.
Hey guys, if you haven't noticed, we're in the car. If you might, oh yes, they can't see us. But if you hear the sounds, those are car sounds that maybe you forgot about.
Yeah, sorry.
We thought that for the Halloween episode, it would be a great, fun thing for us to go in the car and drive to our location again.
Yeah.
Did you miss it? Did you?
I guess we'll find out if the audio friggin' sucks.
Yeah.
Turn right.
Okay, thanks. April's doing our navigation because my phone is being used as a recording thing because we couldn't figure out the dash cam. Whoa.
Oh.
What is happening?
I hit it up there and then didn't realize that
Oh.
I did that. So it's just going to be dangling in your face.
Like
the
things are
entire
just falling in your car.
This is our cute little
Oh,
car
yeah.
charm.
So you can see it in action.
Yeah.
If you're on
It's
Patreon.
not usually that swingy. It's just because it fell
Right.
from where I was trying to hide it.
Yeah, so we're driving to our location from our mom's house because we just recorded episode 30.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great time, as you all know, because you all listened to it through and through.
2 weeks ago.
You even listened to my story. You didn't just stop at April's, and you kept going. I know who you are. I don't know who you are, but I see some people do that.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
Don't do it this time.
Listen to
It's
my
a-
story, please.
It's a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
There's ghosts.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right.
Well.
Oh, you know, I had notes for this episode. I wanted to talk to you about stuff, but now it's in my phone.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Well, it was in my brain by myself.
You know what I think I'm going to be?
What?
A ghost.
That's original.
I know. I have the costume. And I'm not dressing up for anything.
Are you going to come to my house yesterday?
I'm coming to your house?
Oh, the 29th.
Yep.
I did tell you about that, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, 29th. My house. 6 o'clock. Sharp.
Not dull.
Nope.
Okay.
Nice and pointy.
Okay. I'll show up real sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I thought I told everyone about it, but I must
You told
not
me
have.
that you were going to do something.
Oh.
So I knew there was going to be something. I just didn't know the plans.
Okay. 29th. According to this episode, yesterday at 6.
Got it. Okay.
Be there or be square.
In my ghost car. What are you going to be?
I don't know.
Well, you gotta be knowing. You
I
had the entire year to think about it.
did, and I will likely be either a pirate again like last year, or I'll just be... Maybe I'll be a ghost too.
You could.
I could.
That'd be really easy.
Maybe I'll be a witch.
Oh, that's a good one. Because you already have the hat.
I have a lot of witch hats for some reason.
Huh.
Anyway, sweet. Well, happy Halloween. Hope
Yeah.
you're having a safe one and do Halloween fun things.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
What?
Is that in how many days? 3 days or 4 days after this comes out, my son, you guys, my eldest, is turning 10 years old.
10 years old. And you know what? I remember when he was born, I lived in St. George. And I think I tell him this all the time, and he just looks at me like, okay.
Like,
But
okay.
I was in St. George, and it was my first nephew of any kind. And I was like, I gotta be there. I gotta
Yeah.
experience all the things. So I made Josh drive 100 miles per hour from St. George.
Should I get on bigger? Go whoop, or all the way down?
This tells you to go to I-15.
Okay, got it.
And go that way.
Okay.
But I made Josh drive 100 miles per hour from St. George to freaking wherever you were, Jordan Valley Hospital.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I could be there. I got there.
Sharp.
And I run into the bathroom because we were driving for 3 hours. And so I ran to the bathroom to pee. And right as I was peeing, I got the text with a picture of Luke. And I was like, I made it! I'm in the bathroom, but I made it.
Oh my gosh. That was crazy too.
Yeah.
That was a crazy time.
That was.
Yeah, 10. He's gonna be 10.
That was 10 years ago. And I remember holding him, and there's a picture of me, like, with my eyes as big as possibly could be. And I look like a freaking weirdo, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's that baby. We didn't have babies around.
No.
He was the first baby around.
He was the first one in our family.
Yeah.
Since me.
And he's 10.
Yeah. Crazy. Anyway, those are my updates. Do you have any updates, April?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't know. Do I? No. I don't know.
No.
There was nothing happening. I had a Halloween party yesterday.
Right.
I assume it was fine.
Oh, I was going to ask you, though. On Halloween, do you usually hand out candy, or are you guys out trick-or-treating?
You know what? I kind of was thinking about this literally on my way here.
Mm-hmm.
That it might be good to have someone home to pass out candy, because there's little shitheads in our neighborhood that take they dump whoever leaves out candy, they dump it in their
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to us last year, because we were only out for like 30 minutes and we came back and it was empty, and we're like,
there's no way they took just one.
Yeah, there's no way. So that's what we're thinking too, is that I might stay home and then Mitch will take the golf cart around with the kids.
Yeah, and I kind of want to have a bucket or like a little candy bowl for candy, and then a bowl that has like toys, because there's a lot of people that have said that, hey, we have like peanut allergies.
Oh, that's good.
So I wanted to do like stickers,
like spider rings
or something that like kids with allergies can have.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
So 2 separate bowls for those things, so it's not all mixed up.
I'm sure the kids will be happy not to get just candy, you know.
Yeah, and
that's exciting.
I might try to do something a little less lame, like not just stickers, but do like, I don't know, they have those Halloween stamps. They have
Just go to Target. You can find all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing that, but I definitely feel like I need to be there to hand it out, because I know that there are punk kids that take everyone's candy.
Right. And the parents don't say much.
Yeah.
Look at these fall colors on the mountains. Oh my gosh.
Yesterday, I went up Big Cottonwood Canyon to Silver Lake. If you're in Utah, you know what that is. If you are going to visit Utah, go there.
Yeah.
But
especially
all
in the fall time.
All the way up Big Cottonwood Canyon, there's a little town at the very end of the road that has a boardwalk, and they have a little shop there with the restaurant, but they have a boardwalk where you walk around this little lake. And we went up there yesterday, and it was bright yellow everywhere. And it was, I mean, the drive up is super pretty because you see every color that there is.
It's like Fruity Pebbles.
And Jordan was like, look at the colors. And Corey was like, next year I'll just buy you a 64-pack of crayons. And I was like, that's not the same thing. But no, Josh was just appreciative I didn't make him do the Alpine Loop again, because people do not... Like, people park on the sides, on both sides, and it's so narrow that, like, only one car can fit through. So if there are 2 lanes of traffic, like, no one can get through. So it sucks to drive there, but the views.
So pretty.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, right now is the perfect time to go look at the leaves.
Well, not when you're listening to it 2 weeks ago.
Well, if you haven't seen the leaves, you missed it.
You missed it.
They're on the ground now, so.
Yeah, but we'll post pictures. I'll post pictures of what I've seen.
That.
Right? With this Highlander in front of us.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Right.
Do it. Watch them be a listener.
If this is your license plate, just kidding.
Yeah.
Can't really see it. I'll try to get a better picture later. But my gosh, the colors, if you got to visit Utah in the fall, Like, end of September, beginning of October, and it'll be like your dreams have come true and you've seen the most beautiful thing in the world, and your life will be complete.
Totally complete.
I remember going on drives with the family and, well, like, caravanning through the canyons, and I had tears in my eyes.
It makes you emotional.
Like, the fall colors make me emotional.
Well, because it's so beautiful, like, breathtakingly beautiful.
You really, and, like, pictures don't do it justice. No. And, like, seeing it in person, you're just like, this is literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And then, when we go in, every year, when we go and cut down our Christmas tree, tears again. I love it so much. Listening to Christmas music, driving through the snow.
Like, I just want to feel something.
Like, like, I feel so many feelings. Like, this is what life's about.
Right.
Like, I'm a psycho.
We're in God's country.
Yeah, I'm just a freak. Okay.
Oh, no, you're just fine.
Let me make sure this is recording, because I would be sad if it wasn't. Okay.
And is the mic plugged in?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I checked.
I think that was the last, wasn't the last?
That was the last one we did. I think we were so defeated.
Guys, that is when we were just like, screw it, we're staying home.
Yeah, we were really upset.
We were.
But now, I have a cool story for you.
Okay.
Well, it's not a cool story. I don't have to explain. It's
I know
fine.
what you mean.
It's just a story that is for our podcast.
That is topical for what we like to talk about.
Yeah, and it's Halloween scary. Okay.
Okay.
Mackenzie Lueck was born March 8th, 1996.
Oh my gosh.
And grew up in LA. Do you recognize the name Mackenzie Lueck?
No.
Oh, well.
I don't.
You will. I think you'll remember the story once I get to the bad parts.
Okay.
She had one older brother and two younger brothers, so she's the only girl in her family. She arrived in Utah when she began attending University of Utah, where she majored in kinesiology and pre-nursing.
Wow.
She joined a sorority of Alpha Chi Omega. She found work here in Salt Lake City at a biological testing company and planned to have a career in health sciences, and was on her way to graduate in May 2020. But Monday, July 17th. What did I say?
Monday, July 17th.
In my head, I said Monday, May, July.
Oh.
Did I say that?
You might have.
Okay.
In my head, I translated it, so.
Okay, well, on Monday, July 17th, 2019, Mackenzie was returning to Salt Lake City from LA, where she was attending her grandma's funeral. As soon as she landed in Salt Lake City,
I remember this because I remember where I was when I heard about it, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Mitch was in the hospital with a kidney stone, and I only had the news to watch, and that's what came on, and I'm just like, Mitch, turn it up.
Yeah.
I remember this now.
Okay.
Okay.
So as soon as she landed at Salt Lake City International Airport, Mackenzie sent her parents a text letting them know that she had arrived in Utah. In the following days, Mackenzie's parents tried reaching her many times, but she never answered. 4 days after Mackenzie landed in Salt Lake City, her father called 911 and told the operator, quote, "Yeah, I'd like to get, if possible, a wellness check done on my daughter. I've been trying to get a hold of her all week." Her father told police all calls went straight to voicemail, so her phone must be turned off. So police went to Mackenzie's apartment. Her car was outside, so they knocked on the door with no answer. She didn't seem to be home, but she didn't have her car, like she didn't drive herself to the airport, right?
Okay.
They found out Mackenzie had missed her midterm exams at school, and the last time anyone had seen her was when she landed at the airport. Investigators obtained her phone records, and they reflected that Mackenzie's phone was turned off at 3 a.m. on the day she landed in Salt Lake City.
Oh, no.
Mackenzie also had a flight back to California on June 23rd, but she didn't board.
Oh, that's when you know there is something terrible.
Yeah, right?
That probably happened. So, do we know who picked her up from the airport?
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
Further investigation showed they discovered Mackenzie ordered a lift to Hatch Park in North Salt Lake City. Shortly after she landed at the airport on June 17th, she called a Lyft, which led police to begin to search Hatch Park area, because that's where she was dropped off, according to the Lyft records, right?
Hatch Park. Where
Hatch
is that?
Park.
Did you already say where that is?
North Salt Lake.
Okay.
Police tracked down the Lyft driver, and according to him, Mackenzie told him that she was planning on meeting a friend there. When he dropped her off at Hatch Park, a maroon Subaru was already there waiting for her.
Okay.
The owner of the Subaru got out of their car, saw them. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Okay. The owner of the Subaru got out of their car, and the Lyft driver saw them talking to Mackenzie. The Lyft driver said they seemed casual and comfortable with each other, so he wasn't concerned about leaving her there, right?
Yeah. I guess for all he knows, all is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. The Lyft driver was removed from their suspect list because police were able to confirm that he picked up another customer immediately after dropping off Mackenzie and continued working hours after.
Okay.
So the big question is, who was this friend that picked her up, right?
Right.
And what was she doing? It was 3 a.m. Why would she not be dropped off at her place that she lived, and instead she was dropped off at a park?
Right. Like, usually after a long flight, you're not wanting to go do something else. You're usually like, I need to get home and unpack or whatever.
Well, and it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird time.
That's really weird.
So, investigators began looking into Mackenzie's life and into her friends. Her friends were able to confirm to police that she was using dating apps like Tinder, seeking arrangements, and Call Her Daddy records.
Okay.
So
meeting strangers.
Meeting strangers, basically, yeah. With this information, they were able to find several IP addresses that were used to communicate with Mackenzie's phone the day she disappeared. Police were able to trace one of the IPs to a man named Ayoola Ajayi. Okay. So a little bit about Ayoola. He was originally from Nigeria. He had a green card that allowed him to work in the U.S., and he was previously going to Utah State University, but was banned from campus due to issues with his visa, as well as allegations that he stole another student's iPad.
Oh, jeez.
But then in 2015, he was able to return to campus after things were cleared up with his visa. He stuttered? He studied computer science, but ultimately did not graduate.
Okay.
He worked briefly with the Army National Guard and was most recently working as an IT person, IT analyst type thing.
Yeah.
But on June 22nd, police went to Ayoola's house in Salt Lake City, and he told police that he didn't know Mackenzie and that he left his Wi-Fi open to the public because he has an Airbnb that he uses with his residents. And so he said that someone must have used his Wi-Fi to communicate with Mackenzie because it wasn't him. Okay. Ayoola allowed police to look at his phone. They noticed that he also had the same app called Seeking Arrangements.
Interesting.
So a little bit about Seeking Arrangements. It's an app for sugar daddies and sugar babies as a dating app, okay? Sugar babies seeking older, wealthier partners to help with finances for either tuition, material things like clothes, and things like that.
Okay.
Ayoola didn't say much to police when they were there at his house, but he did call them after they left. And he said he did actually text with Mackenzie the day before she went missing.
But he didn't know her.
Right.
Okay, buddy, this is not the time to be changing your story.
Right. So apparently their communication only consisted of, she sent him a text that only consisted of a question mark. And the police asked if he responded, and he said, well, yeah, I did. All I said was seeking arrangements, which is the text that they used, right?
Okay.
And he sent her a photo of himself because she asked for it, which, I'm sorry, women usually don't ask for pictures. They don't like dick pics. I
Oh,
don't.
those pictures. Like,
yeah.
not a picture of his face, but a picture
Yeah.
of that. Okay.
Yeah. She did
And
not ask for it.
I don't know.
Doubt it. I doubt it.
I've
I
never
doubt
asked
it.
for one.
Most women haven't. They're all unsolicited.
Yeah.
We know.
We know what it looks like.
Yeah, we know. We don't want to care. Okay. Anyway, so he said that that's pretty much all the communication that they had, and it stopped there. And that was he said it was all the day before. Okay.
Not good timing.
Yeah, right? At this point, police have Ayula as the top suspect, right?
Okay.
They begin looking into his social life. They obtained his phone records and discovered that his phone was in the same area of North Salt Lake the same time Mackenzie was there. And he was the last person to have contact with her.
Oh.
So,
that's not good.
but even still, he denied seeing Mackenzie that morning. He said, nope, I wasn't there. Wasn't me. Sorry. Police got the surveillance video near Hatch Park where they saw a maroon Subaru that the Lyft driver detailed to them, right?
Okay.
It left shortly after the Lyft driver did. When police looked into what Ayula's car was, he drove a 2013 Kia Optima that matched the description the Lyft driver
So
said.
they thought it was a Subaru, but
It was a Optima. It had like the same like
body
shape and everything.
yeah.
On June 26th, police searched Ayula's home. There was still no sign of Mackenzie, and none of her friends or family had heard from her yet. While they searched Ayula's house, they brought him in for questioning. The police asked police why he was there. He said, quote, "This is terrible. I just want this to be over."
It's like, as far as you're concerned, you're not even involved.
Right, so why
what
are
do
you
want?
worried?
Yeah, what do you want to have over?
Right.
Like, if you really were innocent and it really did end at those texts, then it is over for you. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's not. So,
Yeah, so he continued to tell police that he never met Mackenzie in person, and he wasn't at Hatch Park. He said he was with his baby mama, and police asked who his baby mama was, and he said he only knew her first name, but he kept in touch with her because she was pregnant with his baby. And I'm like, you don't know your baby mama's last name?
But you spent time with her.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that is such a terrible lie.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure the police officers were like trying so hard not to roll their eyes. Like, you really expect us to believe that? Like,
right.
Okay.
Exactly. Like, you really think we were born yesterday?
Right. Let's see. So, Ayula ended up giving police his password for his phone and his laptop, which later is nice for police.
Yeah.
He continued to deny being at the park and said, quote, "That's not safe for her or safe for me for being there at 3 a.m. So they're like he's still saying, why would I be there? That's not safe, right? Police said they had evidence showing that he was there at the park based off phone records and surveillance.
Idiot.
And he still denied it.
Oh my gosh.
What Ayula didn't know at this time is police found evidence at his house.
Oh.
They used a cadaver dog that alerted police to a certain area of the backyard, which appeared to have been recently turned over. It was covered in a thin layer of mulch, and they found a piece of fencing that had a smoke pattern in the shape of a wheelbarrow in his garage. So, like, he had a fire, and there's, like, the cadaver dogs pointed them to an area, this turned over area, like the ground had been disturbed, okay?
Got it.
So in an alleyway behind his backyard, they found partially burned items, black clothes, and a strap of a purse or backpack. Police spoke to Ayula's neighbor, and one of them said they saw him having a bonfire on the 18th or 19th of June. The smoke was so bad that she told Ayula that she would call the fire department if he didn't.
Oh no.
During the interrogation, the police asked him about the fire in his backyard, and he said that he was burning plastic and wood and would sometimes burn animal carcasses of sheep and goats because he ate them.
What?
And you would not burn their carcasses.
I don't know what you would do with them, but it's like, okay, then prove that. Prove it. You know? Like, that is so wild.
Right. But the DNA profile from the Utah Crime Lab developed some muscle tissue they found in samples from the backyard. And the muscle tissue matched Mackenzie's DNA.
Oh my gosh.
Ayula was arrested and charged with aggravated murder, aggravated kidnapping, and desecration of a body. Police had DNA evidence that Mackenzie was in his backyard but did not have her body. The investigators continued to look at Ayula's phone records, and they found his phone pinged in Logan Canyon, 85 miles north of Salt Lake City.
We know about Logan Canyon.
Yeah. Police found charred remains in Logan Canyon in a shallow grave with brush over it in a wooded area of the canyon. It was Mackenzie.
Wow.
Her arms were bound behind her back with rope. The medical examiner showed Mackenzie suffered blunt force trauma to the head that caused brain hemorrhaging, which is what killed her.
Wow.
But it also showed that she was strangled. Ayula pled guilty to aggravated murder and desecration.
Now he admits it.
Yeah. And desecration of a human body in exchange for the death penalty being off the table. Due to the plea deal, charges of obstruction of justice, aggravated kidnapping, and forcible sexual abuse were dropped. Let me see where we're at. You're gonna get off at exit 306.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sorry, these guys are slowing way down. Okay.
Through his attorney, Ayula told the story of what happened. They met on seeking arrangements in 2018. He planned to murder her before they met up. In preparation for what he planned to do, he turned off security video cameras he had in his home before he drove to Hatch Park to meet her. He didn't want evidence of her being at his house on video.
Wow.
As soon as they arrived to his house, he tied her hands behind her back and began to choke her. He admitted that he strangled her and burned her body and buried her in his backyard. When the police showed up asking about Mackenzie, when they left, they showed up, and when they left, he panicked and removed her body from his backyard and took her up the canyon.
Okay. So, wow. Okay.
So her body was there when the police were doing door-to-door around Hatch Park.
Imagine that.
Right?
That's insane. And also to be planning, I don't know, like, I know that happens in a lot of the these true crime stories, that these murderers plan it. And it's like, there is no excuse
You're gonna want to get
for
over
you.
it.
Like,
yeah.
It's, I don't know, there's no excuses anyway, but it's like, you didn't even, like, it wasn't even, like, in a moment, you know, like, you had all the time to, like, plan and prep, like, I don't know, it just makes me angry.
Yeah, that's what scares me so much about anybody using dating apps is, like, you are meeting up with a stranger, you don't know their intentions, and you won't know their intentions until you get to meet them and know them. And maybe you never even really know their intentions. Right. So you're going to turn left on State Street in 0.7 miles.
Yeah, that's so scary.
So scary. Let's see. He admitted that when he was attacking her, she pled for him to stop, and he didn't. He admitted that when he was attacking her, she pled for him to stop, but he didn't. Instead, he turned her on her stomach and used a belt to choke her until she stopped moving.
Oh my gosh. That is so horrible.
Yeah.
That is so horrible.
This makes me so scared for anybody using dating apps. Like, it just scares me.
Yeah.
If you're gonna meet up with people, make sure it's in public and not. Just take care of yourself. Is all I'm asking.
Just be so careful.
Okay, let me. Just because we're getting close, let me just pause my story for a sec.
So he said that they've been talking since 2019, and then
2018, and this happened in 2019.
Okay.
in June.
So maybe at that point she felt like she could trust him, you know? Like he just let her on.
Maybe.
Let's see.
Yeah. Like, she must have felt like she knew him enough and she trusted her judgment.
Right.
And, like, what can you do at that point if they turn... Because, like, you never know when someone's going to turn out to be a freaking monster. It could be years down the road.
Exactly. So true. Like, even after you've married them.
Yeah, they can turn into someone completely different because their brain stops working.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, and this just says... You're going to keep going. You're going to turn right on South Temple. East South Temple.
Okay.
Okay.
How far away is that, does it say?
Oh, it's not there yet. Let's see. Maybe it'll tell me. In 0.6 miles.
Okay.
So, you'll want to get over to the right.
Okay.
Okay. So, after news broke about his attack on Mackenzie, another woman came forward saying that she was also attacked by him.
Oh.
In 2018, he kidnapped her, raped her. And so that was added to his charges. Oh, wow. It's green. He also faced 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor due to material found on his laptop, which included many images of child pornography.
Whoa.
This specific charge was dropped as a part of a plea deal. Prosecutors were unable to find motive for why he decided to kill Mackenzie that morning, but there were dark signs that showed that he had plans all along. He contacted a construction contractor named Brian Wolf to build a secret soundproof room underneath his porch. He wanted hooks to be fitted and mounted high above head height, and to build, he wanted access to the room to be only by fingerprint. He said he wanted this for a secret room to hide alcohol because his girlfriend was Mormon. Brian felt uncomfortable with this request and declined the job. Good on you, Brian. Way to go.
Real. That really does make me wonder if, like, people that work in construction, like, the crazy stories that they have heard, or, like, the crazy requests, I should say.
Right.
That they've gotten, you know?
Yeah, I think it's 3 on 2 more lights. The third one is when you turn right on.
Okay.
After this one.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Like, not the next one, but the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I described that really weird.
Yeah.
Ken Garff.
I know, it says it's for lease. Like, that entire tower?
That's probably a floor.
Oh.
I guess. Maybe not. Maybe it is the entire floor. Isn't Ken Garff a car place? Ken Garff Auto. No? I don't know.
It's a dealership.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know.
That was... I love how we just don't own up to any of our knowledge. Like, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Could be.
Very true. Oh, Maverick.
There's just so many more buildings down. We're in downtown Salt Lake right now, you guys, and
we're just discovering our surroundings.
Yeah, there's just a lot to look at.
Huh.
Anyway,
it would suck to live or be here.
It does suck to be here.
I don't like downtown Salt Lake.
I don't either. It makes me really anxious.
Yeah. So good luck with your driving, because I don't want to... I'm not a fan.
No.
Okay, so let me look at the map for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to get right. Okay.
This doesn't seem like a lane because there's cars parked in it.
I know. So not this light, but that light.
Okay.
We're going to turn right.
Okay. I can do this.
We can do this without killing anybody or getting killed.
Yeah.
Careful.
Or this car, this turn.
I knew what you were saying, but yes. Okay. Then in 1.4 miles, you're going to turn onto P Street. Turn left on P Street.
Oh, okay. Where?
Then 1.3 miles.
Okay.
I'll read for a second.
Okay.
I'm almost done. Okay. So he wanted this soundproof room. The contractor said, yeah, dude, that's weird. No.
Yeah.
And So that just goes to show that he had plans all along, months ahead of time.
Why didn't he, like, if he really was eating sheeps and goats, why didn't he just say, like, oh, it's for me to do my slaughtering?
To slaughter sheeps and goats. I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit more scary than saying, I just want to put alcohol in it.
Yeah, but it's more realistic.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know
either. I shouldn't give people ideas on how to lie.
But. Yeah. But also, why not say... I don't know. Why didn't Brian, like, tell the police, like, hey, this guy's asking for a soundproof room?
Right.
But I guess that's not saying it's...
Did anybody build it for him?
No.
Okay, so it never even happened.
No, because I think he's, like, maybe he doesn't understand social cues. Like, why is that weird? I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he didn't understand why that would be, like, raise red flags.
Right.
I don't know. Okay, anyways.
Strange.
So, on October 23rd, 2020, Judge Bernice Treese.
With a V?
Yeah, with a V, because I was talking into this and telling it to type for me because I was lazy. Bernice Treese sentenced Ayuli to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He was also sentenced to 5 additional years in prison for desecrating of a body.
Yeah.
He apologized in court.
Look.
What?
Isn't that Masonic temple? Yeah, it is. That's a Masonic temple. I'm going to cover that one.
That's cool. I've never seen those, like, weird, like...
The Sphinx, or the...
Sphinxes.
Yeah. It's like it's the, what is it called?
Freemasons?
The Freemasons with Joseph Smith's deal. It's all...
I want to do a story about Freemasons, too.
Maybe we'll do a
joint story.
Maybe we'll do it for December.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay.
But yeah, that's freaking weird.
Isn't that crazy? I haven't seen it in person either, but it's on my list.
I mostly just want to do a Freemason story because I don't understand Freemasons.
Me either. That's why I wanted to look it up.
Okay, see, we're in the same thing.
Yeah.
I want to understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me... you have a little less than half a mile till P Street. But luckily, it's in alphabetical order.
Oh, yeah, that helps. Look how pretty that little cottage house is.
See, I would love to have a house down here. It's so...
Colonial.
Even if it's just like a shop. Or maybe build one.
Yeah.
Like in where I am.
And make it look like that.
Make it look like it's supposed to be authentic.
Right.
It's so spooky looking.
It is. It really is. Especially with all, like, the dead vines growing up.
Oh, I love it. Ronald McDonald House.
Hey.
Interesting. I feel like I'm discovering a whole new place.
Right.
Okay, you have a little more.
It's probably the next light, right?
It's not a light.
Oh, okay. So look.
This is O Street, so it's the next left.
Okay, I see it.
I'm surprised this hasn't quit on us yet. Your phone.
Oh yeah, me too. Thank goodness. Jeez.
There's not even a sign, so I'm glad we have a map.
This is it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, now...
Here I go again. Girls,
Here I
what's
go.
my weakness?
Here I go again, girls, what's my weakness?
Man!
Okay, then chillin', minding my business. Saw I look around and I couldn't believe this.
I only know that part.
I lost my train of thought because I was looking at stop signs and then I just...
It was telling you to stop.
Yeah, it was like, be done.
Like, should I take this as a sign?
I didn't. I kept trying and then I failed.
Ooh, do you see where we're going?
It's a cemetery.
Do you know which one it is?
Salt Lake City Cemetery.
Yep.
That was a tough guess.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Dope.
Map led us right to it. That's really nice.
Okay, then you turn right. I mean, I guess you can find a spot to be.
Yeah.
You can just, guess you can just park on the side.
Okay. In the shade.
Can't get kicked out there, huh?
Watch us get kicked out. You can't be at the cemetery on a Sunday.
Can you imagine if they were like, no, turn around, get out of here.
All right, I'm going to park in this little tree shade.
Okay. Watch these people say, why are you parked in front of my house?
Yeah, this is for guests only.
I'm looking at the street and the ghosts.
I think that's another reason why we stopped going places, because we kept getting kicked out for just parking.
We got kicked out everywhere we went. It was very frustrating.
Like, we didn't even get out of the car half the time. We just parked, and they're like, you can't be here. It's like, well, fine.
Okay, so I'm almost done. I only have 2 bullet points left.
Okay.
Here, I'll hold this. Okay, because my hand is sweaty and dead. Okay.
Your hand is so dramatic on its own. It like flops to the side like it's dead.
And then it won't move again. Look, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay. So he apologized in court, though her parents said that they didn't believe it was genuine. Mm-hmm. Her parents gave a statement speaking about how they'll never get to see their only daughter marry and have children. Mackenzie's father said, quote, "My daughter Mackenzie was a sweet, amazing young lady in a world with a whole world ahead of her. She was a kind-hearted person that cared about others. Now I'll not have the opportunity to see her life blossom."
That is so sad.
And that is the story of Mackenzie Lueck. Just be careful, please, when using dating apps.
There's a pervert 10 feet from you.
At all times.
At all times.
There's probably a murder about the same.
Right.
Aspiring murders.
Mm-hmm.
Regular, already seasoned murders.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Watch out. Watch out. Take care of yourself. Take bear spray. No. Mace.
I thought you were doing this, like, take pictures.
No. I was like, shh.
Oh. Yeah.
Mace. And rape whistles. And what are other things? Pocket knives. And you can get a concealed carry. Mm-hmm. I don't trust myself for that.
I don't either.
But you can take classes on when to know when to use things. Anyway, should we stop this?
And go walk around for a sec?
Yeah?
Okay.
Stop.
Yeah. 42 minutes. Wow, that's a lot of memory I got there. We're back in the car, and we just walked around the cemetery.
Ooh, look at that one built into the side of the hill.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. But yeah, so we're kind of driving through right now, but our stupid dash cam is not working, so you're on our phone again. So we're starting the story over. I didn't get that far, but
okay.
Here we go. All right, so I'm covering the ghosts of Salt Lake City Cemetery. The cemetery was one of the first things that needed to be established after the Mormon pioneers arrived in Salt Lake Valley. The first burial was of an 8-month-old infant named Mary M. Wallace. Her father brought her to the top of these foothills because he thought it was a beautiful place for her to be buried because it overlooked the entire Salt Lake Valley. And many people followed suit because shortly after they brought their loved ones up on top of the hill to bury them. And before long, Brigham Young set aside about 300 acres up here to make it be the official Salt Lake City Cemetery. So over the last about 180 years, it has become a resting place for at least 125,000 people.
That's so many.
Right. It really is so many. And what's crazy too is like you just look out and you see all these headstones, but like there's a lot that you can't see anymore because it's been overgrown by grass or the trees. Like there's so many headstones here. But I can't go without mentioning what happened back in the 1860s when Jean-Baptiste was the grave digger.
Yeah.
That was back in episode 2. So if you forgot that whole thing, go back and listen to episode 2 because that was a wild story. But yeah, he was a gravedigger here back in the 1860s. And it said that the ghost of Jean-Baptiste is sometimes seen roaming amongst the graves carrying around a bundle
Brigham Young Jr.?
Say what? Wife of Brigham Young Jr. Oh. Interesting.
Brigham Young Jr.
I didn't know there was a junior. He is not talked about very much. But the ghost of Jean-Baptiste is sometimes seen roaming amongst the graves carrying a bundle of clothing and a shovel. Now, there are 2 urban legends that come out of the cemetery that I can't go without mentioning. One of them is Emo's grave, which we got to visit because we found it. It's easy to find. Yeah. But I didn't find the other one, so we'll get there. So Emo's grave is located in the Jewish section of the Salt Lake City Cemetery, and it's located in the avenues just north of 4th Avenue and 990 East. When you look at Emo's grave, it actually doesn't have the name Emo anywhere on it. That's because it's a crypt for a Jewish man named Jacob E. Moritz. So let's learn about Jacob.
So do you say why it's called Emo?
Yes, Yep. So he was born in Germany in 1849, and he immigrated to America when he was 16. He spent a few years working at a brewery in New York, then eventually moved to Montana to get his hands dirty in the mining business. Little is known about how he did in the mining business, but he eventually made his way to Salt Lake City to open up his own brewery. That was in 1871, and he called it the Little Montana Brewery. His business was extremely successful, and he gained enough profit to open up a much larger and nicer brewery on 10th East and 5th South in Salt Lake City, and he renamed it to the Salt Lake Brewing Company, which is now the Anniversary Inn. Over the next 4 decades, Moritz was able to export his beers to different areas throughout Utah, Arizona, Wyoming, Colorado, and California. And for a long time, it was known as the largest brewery outside of Milwaukee. And during all of this, he owned at least 36 saloons. And in 1889, he married his wife, who immigrated from Hawaii. Her name was Lahala Lewison. They were both very active in the local Jewish community in Salt Lake City. He was the president of the Temple B'nai Israel, and she was the leader of the Hebrew Ladies Relief Society.
So that must be the Catholic section.
Oh, yeah. Mount Calvary. Not only was he a successful businessman, and heavily involved in the religious community, but he was also involved in local politics. In 1895, he was actually a member of the convention that drafted the Constitution in which Utah would become a state.
Sweet.
Oh, that is sweet. There's a little picnic happening around that little grave site. There's like 7 people. That's so sweet. He was very well liked, and he was known to be a really good guy. And like I was saying during the first recording, is that he was actually known to be very giving and, helped the needy in any way that he thought he could. So even though he sold beer in very large quantities, he was actually really well liked by the Mormons.
He wasn't shunned because he's a sinner.
Nope. I guess they thought he was good enough.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Gee, what do you gotta do? Sell beer, I guess. Alright, in October of 1909, Jacob and his wife Lahala traveled to Europe because Jacob's health was declining, and they decided that he needed a break from his business and just kind of go on a vacation. So he left in October, and by the next year in June, when they arrived in Germany, shortly after they arrived, Jacob passed away from lung and stomach cancer. The local newspaper announced his death, and Lahala had his remains cremated and then decided to place the vase of ashes inside of a crypt in the Jewish section of the Salt Lake City Cemetery. And as far as I understand, he never had a funeral.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think he would with how popular he was.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how long Lahala stayed in Germany, but, she definitely sent his ashes here. She didn't come with his ashes.
She didn't?
She sent them here. Which is just...
Don't you think she'd have them with her?
You'd think. I don't know.
Interesting.
Very interesting, huh? Lahala, that's not right. What's her name? Sorry. Lahala. Sorry, I wrote it wrong down here. She remarried and moved to California, eventually. And I've told you all of this because ever since his crypt was built and put here, there's been legends and rumors have surfaced about Emo's grave. Nobody really knows why they called it Emo's grave, except that somebody theorized that it could be because his middle initial is E, and then Moritz, M-O.
Oh.
So maybe they got emo out of that, but it's like so strange. Like, why did you pick those letters?
What a weird. Why rename it at all?
Right.
I don't know.
It's so strange. However, I did read that. Oh, I already said that. Okay. Based on how the crypt is designed, many believe that it was bound to be part of some urban legend eventually. Mm-hmm. Because the way it's designed is that it's just a vertical rectangle cement block with a giant door on the front, and it used to have a window in the door that you could look inside and see his vase.
Oh, right. Okay.
But over time, people have vandalized it, and they ended up having to remove that window and just put a sheet of metal on there. I even heard that, like, the vase that his ashes were in got destroyed, and they ended up having to move his ashes to an undisclosed location. Whether that's in the cemetery still, or it's, like, with his family somewhere.
God, people suck.
For real. Like, just leave things alone. Look, don't touch.
Right. People just ruin everything for everybody. I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Seriously. So, technically, right now, the crypt is empty.
Yeah.
Legends and rumors have circulated about things that have happened at this crypt, though. Or things that happens when you do certain things. So, one legend says that if you look inside the window of the crypt, back when it was there, during a full moon, you would see a face looking back at you.
Your reflection?
That's what somebody said. They're like, it was probably just a reflection, like, on the vase that was in there. But, yeah.
That's funny.
The second legend I found was that if you light a stick match next to the crypt, you'll see a face looking out of the window of the crypt. So if you just strike a match, that's when you'll see it. Oh, yeah, we can see the whole valley now. Oh, let me turn this around. Hold on. See
Hopefully
it?
You can
see it?
What we're seeing.
Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it?
Hopefully that
was. It was a nice guided tour. Okay, another legend says that if you light a candle, then circle the crypt while chanting emo, 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 then look inside, you'll see a pair of red glowing eyes staring back at you.
Oh.
Nowadays, the window that used to be there is covered up, like I said.
Yeah.
But, so since there's not a window anymore, though, the legend has adapted. They say that if you light a candle and walk backwards around the grave 3 times chanting emo, then a pair of red glowing eyes will appear near the crypt. It just adapts to whatever the situation is. So if you stop by, though, definitely leave a pebble on the gravesite because apparently it's an ancient Jewish tradition to leave a pebble when visiting a gravesite.
Which I love.
Yeah, one reason I found was that it wards off evil spirits, and another reason was that it shows how many visitors had visited that site.
Yeah.
And many people saw that with our own eyes.
And we left a pebble.
We did leave a pebble on Jacob's grave.
Mm-hmm.
We did do that. So
I wanted to be a part of the tradition. I think that's cool.
Isn't that so cool? I
kind of like it because I was telling you, I was like, people leave flowers, but they die and then they get cleaned up by the cemetery. But, like, I like the idea of doing the pebbles or the rocks because they're just there forever.
Well, yeah, we were walking by a lot of headstones that had, like, pebbles on the top, but it looked like they had been there for a long time based off, like, the watermarks around them.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that the people that are taking care of the grounds aren't...
They're not clearing the rocks.
Yeah, they're leaving them there, which is... I think that is just so cool. Alright, so about the other urban legend.
Okay.
This is about Lily E. Gray. Do you know this one?
No.
She was born June 6th of 1881 and died November 14th of 1958. And on her headstone it says, "Victim of the Beast, 666.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
I couldn't find it. We could find it if we wanted to look into it, but I don't know where it is. According to Utah records, Lily died of natural causes at the age of 77. No one is quite sure why her husband decided to include Victim of the Beast on there. But I thought maybe it was his way of, like, having last word of, like, no, you go to hell. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
But I found that the truth is her husband, named Elmer, was described as being very eccentric. He had multiple run-ins with the law. He was known to be paranoid and believe in most conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Some speculated that the beast was actually the government. He claimed that he and Lily were kidnapped by 5 Democrats, and they killed Lily and covered it up, making it look like it was natural causes, and put pulmonary embolism on her death certificate.
What? Oh, man.
Yeah. So you could take this as a man who's delusional, a man who's maybe telling the truth, or someone who just had a really odd sense of humor.
I mean...
Yeah.
I could see Josh putting something funny on mine.
And people being like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like an inside joke. You're like, that doesn't seem nice.
Right. So either any way, possibility, no one knows.
I bet they have an inside joke. Like, if the devil doesn't take you first, it's going to take me first.
Yeah.
You know?
Like whoever goes first goes to hell.
Yeah. And then I bet it was an inside joke.
Yeah. Who knows?
He really didn't like her.
Yeah. Like, honestly, though. Or maybe he was delusional.
Well, maybe. I've heard of delusions where people think... it was in one of our stories. Someone thought that their wife was the wife of the devil in another life. It was the Lafferty brothers.
Oh.
You remember?
Yeah. Wow. A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, my wife was...
That's right.
Like, his delusions were, my wife used to be married to the devil in another life. Mm-hmm. Like, he was psycho.
I did read that Elmer was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I then read that sometimes that can cause them to have hallucinations.
Oh, okay.
So...
I bet it was something similar to that.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible. But it's an urban legend, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, many creepy things have happened here, or else this legend wouldn't have lasted so long.
Yeah.
Plus, the Salt Lake City Cemetery is known to be Utah's most haunted cemetery.
I disagree.
Yeah. We walked around with an EMF detector, and it didn't beep. It beeped one time.
When we talked about a tree.
Yeah, we said, oh, look, it's a tree headstone. And then it went beep. And then nothing after that. So, I don't know.
I just disagree.
Well, then I was telling April that the cemetery right next to my house, I take my EMF detector over there sometimes, and it goes off like crazy. Like, it goes up to like 16 points.
So it's not like your EMF detector is broken.
No, it works. That's why I'm like, why is it not? And it wasn't doing anything the whole time except for that one time that it beeped.
Yeah, it was at 0 forever.
Huh.
I guess we could have it on while we drive around.
Yeah,
You put it away.
I put it away. Well, if we ever come back and walk around, maybe we'll see. Yeah. And I told April, too, maybe it's this section that we were in. Like, we were in the Jewish section, then we went to the Catholic section.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to go to, like...
the Mormon section?
Yeah. I don't know. So...
Or the non-denominational?
Right. Yeah. Because they don't know. Alright, so visitors often hear phantom footsteps walking around. It could be the squirrels or the quails.
We just heard quails in a bush.
Yeah, we had to stop. Like, look, we
got down on our hands and knees and looked under a bush, and there were a bunch of quail babies.
We did do that. So yeah, investigate. If you hear footsteps, stop for a second and look in a bush. It might just be an animal.
How do you hear footsteps on grass?
Dude, I hear footsteps on grass all the time. Like,
I guess. It just seems like it wouldn't have sound.
Joggers have said that sometimes when they jog around the cemetery, they'll sometimes hear someone running up behind them, and then when they look, no one's there.
Oh, wow.
Floating orbs have been seen hovering above different headstones throughout the cemetery. Strange images or shapes also like to appear in photographs. Apparitions of women in pioneer-era clothing are often seen throughout the cemetery.
See, that's what I would expect.
Yeah, like the ones that are like, I didn't get justice.
Yeah, pioneer women.
Right.
With a axe to grind.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, they would
They would be scary in war. Could you imagine?
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Some guests have heard the sound of a baby crying, and when they go to follow the sound, it'll usually lead them to a grave of an infant who has passed away.
Oh, God, this is the saddest thing.
Children ghosts are a common sighting. They are seen playing and running amongst the headstones.
Oh.
And when someone gets near them to tell them to behave, they'll vanish. Sadly, not all of the children ghosts are happy, though. Some children ghosts are seen frantically crying, and when they're approached, they vanish.
That would break my heart.
Right?
Every time I see a child's headstone, it breaks my heart a little bit every single time. I can't, like, it makes me so sad.
Right. No, I understand that, because me too. Apparitions of young men in military uniforms are also have also been spotted amongst the graves.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is they usually appear in the morning hours. The military men.
Oh. Yeah, up before dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An apparition of an old man is seen wandering alongside the road at evening time. He likes to disappear just as your car passes him. One story I read said that a woman was driving by and she saw the old man and wondered if he needed help, so she drove past him, but when she looked back in her mirror, he was gone.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. And, if it was a real old man, they don't move fast.
No, they don't. So that was a ghost.
That was a ghost.
People have reported strange electrical malfunctions when driving by the cemetery. The last little bit I'm going to tell you is a short story I found on a recent post on the Utah Haunted History page. This was written by a commenter named Chance M. He said that back in 2012, he was only about 12 years old, and him and his little sisters were staying the night at his older sister's house with her husband, and they lived somewhere nearby. They were looking for something to do, so they decided to go out and buy a Ouija board and bring it to the cemetery.
No.
They went to every single store they could think of, could not find a Ouija board, but they decided to come to the cemetery anyway to do a little ghost hunt or play ghost in the graveyard, whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, when they got here, they found a small group of people using a Ouija board, and they just kind of grouped together with them. The group that brought the Ouija board told them about all the spooky things they've experienced while visiting the cemetery and led them to Lily Gray's headstone. And they showed them where it says, Victim of the Beast 666. They chose her grave to be the spot where they whipped out the Ouija board. At this point, it was around 1:30 or 2 a.m. They sat and asked questions, and the planchette never moved. But then, they saw a woman in an old wedding dress walking towards the path they were near. Not towards them, but towards the path. And I guess they yelled over to her hey, what are you doing? Did not even acknowledge them. Just kept walking. So they were really creeped out. And then I guess one of them kind of went towards her and was saying stuff and that person said that she vanished.
Oh, wow.
So not everybody said they saw that, but just the person that went over there said, yeah, she vanished.
Yeah.
The group gained their attention back to the board, only to see that a rose had suddenly popped up onto the corner of the board, and nobody knew how it got there.
What?
They attempted to keep using the Ouija.
Say the end.
The end.
Okay.
The attempt to keep using the Ouija board, or they kept attempting to use the Ouija board, but the planchette was not moving. Nothing was happening. That's when they saw that lady in the old wedding dress again, and she was this time just standing underneath a path light. There's street lights.
Yeah.
She was just standing underneath one, completely still, just standing there.
Oh, shit. That's scary.
They got super freaked out, and they closed the board, however that works. And when they were walking back to their cars, they noticed that something or someone kept dropping roses behind them. They saw more and more roses the closer they got to their cars.
What?
Yeah. The end.
Oh, gosh. That is crazy.
Yeah, right? So,
What's up with these roses? I feel like that means something.
Right. Yeah.
Was it like she had roses at her wedding and she died at her wedding?
Maybe. And why would there be more roses the closer they get to their cards? Like, I wonder if that was her. Is that her way of saying, like, oh, don't go. There's more interesting things to happen here. It's not 3 a.m. yet.
Yeah.
You're not sharp on the time here.
Yeah. Also, don't do Ouija boards.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Just stop it.
Yeah, first and foremost.
It just is bad. It brings bad juju.
Right. We won't judge you for much, but using a Ouija board, we will judge you for.
I will judge you.
I will judge you.
Using a Ouija board.
I will judge your intelligence.
And your decision-making skills.
Yep.
I feel like people are judging us just being here for some reason. Listen, I can be here too.
Right. They're like, you guys don't look like you're supposed to be here, though.
Oh, and I felt bad wearing a ghost t-shirt.
Oh.
Like,
I don't think it's insensitive. I mean, what do they think? What do you think is going to happen after you die?
The ghosts here are like, hey, way to represent.
Yeah. Yeah, they're... Yep. Anyway.
That's a good one. I love cemeteries. I've never been to one for a spooky reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I love being at cemeteries. Like, I don't find them creepy.
They're very peaceful.
I feel like they're peaceful.
Yeah.
But I've never, like, been to one for the reason of being scared, you know?
Like, you've never gone there for intent of being creeped out.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, me either. Well, that's not true. I mean, I've gone to the one that's by my house with the EMF detector, but, like, it wasn't necessarily... It was, like, in, like, a respectful way.
Yeah.
You know, not like, ooh, let's see what I'm gonna find.
Let's see what ghosts are here.
Yeah. It was, 1, to see if it worked, and then 2, to see, like, just...
If it worked.
Yeah,
really.
like, if yeah. Like, it wasn't something that I was doing with people or anything.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't a ghost hunt.
Exactly.
I see you.
Oh, I have outro notes again. And
Okay.
I hope, listeners, I hope you appreciate the outro notes, because...
Because they're... If not, it's chaos.
Yeah, it really is. And then we're like, and that's it, bye.
Okay.
So this way we can actually get information out.
What are these teenagers burning?
Burning?
They have a fire in the parking lot. I feel like an adult is coming and yelling at them.
I guess we can be those adults.
No, there's an adult already.
Oh, there
yelling
is.
at them.
Okay. Here, maybe we can... Yeah, see what we're
There's
seeing.
those adults.
Over there. They're burning
They
something.
have, like, fire in the middle of this. Their corgis, like, nope. Did you see that?
What?
Their corgis stopped, halted.
Oh. Okay, so, outro. Thanks, everybody, for listening to episode 31. Happy Halloween tomorrow.
Happy Halloween. Be safe.
Oh, and hey,
Trick or
send us, we want to see what you are for Halloween. So, like, maybe if you put on your story, just add us.
Like, tag us in.
Yeah, tag us. We want to see.
I want to see what you are for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, tell a spooky story and tag us in it.
Yeah.
We'll share it. Send in your scary, spooky stories to hauntedcold@gmail.com or submit it on our website so that we can feature your story in Bring Your Own Booze episode.
Yeah. And like we were saying last episode, just give us as much detail as you can. Write in your story. We're not doing it the way we thought we would, because there's been a lot of scheduling conflicts and, like, it just hasn't been happening. So we're like, well, maybe let's just change this up a little bit and make it so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they might end up being shorter Bring Your Own Booze episodes too. So, like, when we get those stories and then release them, just know they are not going to be as long as the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, November On Deck at Dusk airs in 2 days from now. So on November 1st.
Yeah, it's a true crime episode.
Do you know what you're doing yet?
No.
Oh.
I mean, hopefully I do by the time this airs.
Yeah, right? Hopefully it's already recorded by then. Oh, that'd be a mess. But that airs on November 1st on Patreon. And we do those every month, at the first of the month. And every other month is different, either true crime or paranormal. Yeah.
So if you want to sign up for our Patreon, Tier 1 is $4 a month, Tier 2 is $5 a month, and Tier 3 is $6 a month. And depending on which tier you sign up for determines on what you receive in your welcome package. And it also determines on what kind of content you get. So, but not really right now. Right now everybody's kind of getting the same stuff. But just your welcome package will be smaller or bigger depending on what you sign up for.
Yeah.
Exactly. This episode airs on October 30th, and the next one will come out on November 13th. And follow us on social media at Haunt and Cold Podcast on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And like April said, visit our website to submit your true crime and paranormal stories.
Yeah.
That's
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good episode.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, bye.